All right, so my presentation actually is called, I forgot what it was called, database errors for theme developers. And who here is a theme developer, develops their own themes? Great. Who here develops themes for clients? Who here has ever seen this screen? Okay, great. It doesn't have to be on your own site. You've seen it around, right? Like you go visit someone else's site and you see it. And it's really horrible. So this is what my presentation is about, getting rid of this. You're making this better, nicer. And as a theme developer or somebody who develops themes for your client, I think you have a responsibility to do this. I think you can make it nicer, and it's an extension of what your theme is. Anyway, so this message is generated by WordPress. It's not generated by your browser. It's not generated by anything else. WordPress actually writes this. Nothing fancy about it. Nothing special about it. And this happens when your database, when WordPress cannot connect to your database. Your database can be offline. You could have the wrong user ID and password for username and password for your database. That would probably be cleaned up quickly. But in most cases, the site is being hosted, and the server goes down, and the database goes down for some reason. Most times you're going to be sleeping or playing with your kids on a weekend, and this is going to happen, and then you have to respond to it. But WordPress does something for you. WordPress is actually a little known. I think it's little known because I actually have found only like 1 or 2 blog articles written about it. This is me simulating a database error. WordPress. I'm sorry, hold on. And save. Still getting database error.
Oh, maybe a cache.
No. 1 second, please. I set up something. There we go. Okay. Before WordPress displays that error, it actually looks for a file called db-error.php. Who heard of this? Very good. Okay. But one person raised their hand. 2 people raised their hand. And WordPress checks for this file in in your WP content folder. Not in your theme folder, not in your plugin folder, in your WP content folder. Whatever you put in this file will show up instead of that white screen. So let's just go into a WP content folder. Let's create a new file. We'll save it. I'm going to call it db-error.php. We're going to go back. We're going to simulate. So it's not there yet, right? Because we're still running. Everybody's happy. Now you went to sleep. And your database goes down. And that file comes up. Okay? So that's my presentation. Changing the message from one byte screen to another. Thank you very much. It's very easy to do, right? You put everything you put in that file will show up here. It's a PHP file, so you do have access to some PHP functions. So I'm just going to tell you how to style it. I'm going to show you how to style it. Most people are going to figure it out themselves. It's pretty simple, but these are the things that I've done. And I'll just show you how we do it. So let's go back to the site. Keep in mind, this is actually, I guess technically it's a 503 error, service unavailable. So what I usually do is I start out with the 404 page from my theme, and I view the source. So remember, your database is down. You don't have access to WordPress. You really don't. You don't. You have access to a very small portion of WordPress. You don't have access to your data. You don't have access to any of those things anymore. So everything you're showing is not dynamic. Nothing can be dynamic anymore. So I'm going to copy the source of that page, my 404 page. I'm going to paste it in db-error. And then I'm going to make a couple of changes. Let's instead of error 404, let's change this to 503, just that's the body. Not that it's going to matter much. Let's see. I have a list of changes that I thought would be kind of fun. Okay, so now we go back here. I'm sorry, we have to go back. We have to simulate our error again. And now, instead of that white screen, we get something that at least looks like the theme. So when your visitors come to see the site, they're not seeing something crazy anymore. This is very similar to like a 404 page, right? Like the 404 page doesn't exist. So instead of, you're not showing a white page, you're showing something that says it doesn't exist. So this is really the same idea. I just took that 404 page and changed it around a bit. So instead of saying 404, I got rid of the I said, sorry, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Now at least looks like a site, right? Like your client would look at it and go, oh, at least there's something going on there, but it's not hideous. Nothing is dynamic. Remember that. I'm clicking on the menu item. I don't go anywhere. I search for something. I don't go anywhere. WordPress is down at this point. The database is offline. So you can remove, if you choose, if you want to remove some of those, pieces, that's fine too. Navbar. Oops, sorry, navbar. So we can maybe remove the navbar from there. Remove the search, but the search isn't going to do anything except frustrate people, right? So we can remove search. We can remove the message that says the search. So, I mean, we're getting a stripped down version of the page, but at least it still looks like a site at this point. Yeah?
Just wondering if this is a common event at WordPress, why would people use WordPress instead of some other web hosting place?
This has nothing to do with WordPress. This has to do with your host. This is your host. At one point, the database is going down. This has nothing to do with WordPress. Any content management system uses a database, and the database can go down. Yeah.
It's also not really that common, right? I mean, it happens over the life of years of having a WordPress site.
I've seen it on cheaper hosts, right? The cheaper host, it definitely happens on. If you have a $5 host, it's going to happen more often than if you have it on a $25 a month host. So that has happened. And even some of the higher end publishers that I've dealt with, they run their own stuff, and things do go down. So, but this is not a WordPress issue. Any Joomla, WordPress, anything that uses a database can suffer from this. Okay, so does everyone understand what we did here? So we took this white screen that looked ugly and was useless and made it still useless, but a little prettier. Okay, so but at least it looks like the site. When your client, when it goes down, your client sees it like, whoa, what's going on? Now at least something is going on. Now at least you have something here. Even down here, so I usually take this stuff out as well because it's just, again, to me it's just frustrating. It doesn't do anything. Essentially the site is down at this point. So having search bars and widgets and links to things that don't work really doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so now we have this stripped down page. So how can we make this useful in some way? We don't have any. Yeah, you had a question?
No, I had the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can we make this useful, right? You don't have access to WordPress. You don't have access to dynamic content. So some of the things that we've done, Twitter has a widget. So if they have a Twitter account, you can stick the Twitter widget in there. Right? Because it's Twitter. It has nothing to do with your website at this point. Oops, sorry. It has nothing to do with where, at least it's something, right? We put Twitter widgets in there. We put Facebook widgets in there. Because at least it's some type of content. Someone's coming here, they're unsatisfied at this point. At least they can go read your tweets or go to your Facebook page and see some other content. And probably get a message from you saying, hey, listen, our site's down. Yeah?
Also, a good thing to put is sorry, we're closed for routine maintenance.
There you go.
Yeah. That calms clients down like you wouldn't believe.
So one other thing that you can do is put in some notifications for yourself. So you don't have access to WordPress anymore. you do have access to PHP. In a lot of cases, PHP is still running. May not be, no guarantee, depending upon the server config, but PHP itself can still be running. And the mail server that you use for PHP can still be running. So one of the things we've also put in, WordPress, PHP has a mail function. And you can, if you want, I would not do this for high volume sites, because keep in mind, this is going to trigger every time someone goes to this page. But you can put an email notification in here. And every time someone comes to this page, you'll get an email. So, whoop, database, that's the title of the message. Oh, and that's the actual message, and then this would be your email address. You got the end. Whoop, mail. So, if it's your own site, if it's someone on a cheaper host, if they don't have server monitoring, this may be a good thing. You're going to get an email every time someone hits that page. If is it still an if here, right? If PHP is still running, well, I guess if PHP is not running, this page won't load. But if the mail server is still running, and there's a chance it may not be at this point, so who knows what happened. But if it is, you're going to get an email when someone visits this page. If you have a high volume site, you're going to get a lot of emails. So be a little careful with that kind of thing. But that's just a trick to get some type of notification, at least make this page somewhat useful and not just a little prettier. Cool. Any questions?
Zendesk.
What was that?
You could connect something like Zendesk.
You connect Zendesk. I mean, right? Any third-party hosted service. That's even better. You know, if you want to put some type of Zendesk or some type of chat box down there, depending upon the client and the site. It's a good idea. Do you have something else that you want to suggest?
I thought about the email thing.
Oh, the email thing, yeah. Because I mean, WordPress has an email function as well, WP Mail, but you don't have access to WordPress at this point. WordPress sort of shut itself off at this point. I don't have the database is down. Sorry, we're not doing anything else. But PHP is still running, so any PHP functions you do have access to. You may want to hook up like if this, then that, or some type of server monitoring that may even text you when the site's down. But at least you have some type of site. And again, this goes into WP content, db-error.php, WP content folder, db-error.php. It's easy to build, as you can see. I just did it in 5 minutes. If you have an existing site, it's simple. You're copying over the source, making some slight modifications, and next time the site goes down, at least it looks a little bit better. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
Have you found any good services for monitoring multiple sites? Instead of doing a custom script or something to check all the different sites, if there's a
I am not.
Pingdom.
Pingdom has a premium service. Yeah, that's one.
There's a free
Website monitor.com. Cool website.
And I think servers themselves, there are actually some on server tools itself that you can use for more advanced stuff. But for smaller sites, Pingdom works really well. Yeah. And they will. I think they check even free. I think they check every 15 minutes or so. There's like a free version of that. But here you still get a nice looking page. Any other questions? Yeah.
I'm not an expert, WordPress expert. How is it that it won't get overwritten when you update WordPress?
WordPress doesn't override, and this is in WP. This is in WP content. So 2 things happen. Number one, WordPress, when you just upgrade WordPress itself, nothing in WP content gets overwritten. Okay. Now, in WP content as a plugins folder, those will get overwritten as you upgrade individual plugins, and as a themes folder, which will get overwritten individual themes. But in WP content itself, this does not get overwritten. So this is safe. This is here. This is safe. Now, keep in mind, it's outside your theme folder. It's outside all these other folders as well, and depending upon your backup options, it may or may not even be backed up, right? Depending upon, hopefully you have a really good backup service. That's a different presentation. But yes, that will not be overwritten. That would be there. I've almost never seen this done. Out of any project I've taken over from other clients or other developers, I've never, actually, sorry, let me take a step back. I've never seen db-error.php. I've never seen anybody do it. And I've only found like 2 or 3 blog posts about it. So that's why I thought it'd be kind of fun to do it. Yeah?
Does that go in the root?
It goes in the root of WP content.
Of WP content.
Yeah, here, I'll, WP content. I'm not big on presentation slides, so I just kind of put it as the description of the site. Yeah.
We do it when we do security cleanup, just like one of the little bonuses we add when we clean up the site. We just,
Great.
sooner or later it happens, clients,
They say that.
That's why I said that message that says we're closed for routine maintenance. 'Cause
This is something.
yeah, it's something
Right.
that keeps them calm, you know what I mean?
I'm
Yeah.
just asking, where are you going when you're clicking on that bottom icon next to man?
This?
No, the one to the.
Oh, this is my text editor, Sublime text.
Oh, it's just a text editor?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, this is a code editor.
oh.
So, yeah. There's a lot of different ones out there. So so you're accessing, keep in mind, even though you're down, this file is still accessing your CSS file. It's still accessing JavaScript files. So you can even make more changes. You can have you can do all kinds of fun things like that. So anything else? No. Awesome. That's all. That was my presentation. Very short and sweet. Thank you very much.